All right, album review for How Do You Sleep at Night by Teezo Touchdown. All of you are now aware of how I sleep at night in my Viking pajamas. It was pretty funny reading a lot of the comments in response to the Viking pajamas. Good times there. With this album, lots of different opinions, right? Some people enjoy it, some people hate it, some people think it's great, some people think it's generic crap. I like it. I like it quite a bit. Kind of surprising, honestly. I think a couple years ago, if I had listened to this, I probably would have been on the other side of the aisle. I probably would have said the same thing that a lot of the people who dislike this are saying. The two biggest comments I'm seeing that are in terms of like negative criticism are generic. I think I've seen that a lot, and Disney. Which, I think those are fair. They're fair, but at the same time, the reason why I like it and why I think I got 10 listens since Friday. I listened to it a lot, and every time I put it on, I was like, yep, I like this. And it's easy. Easy, straightforward, nothing to figure out, nothing to dissect, digest, unlock, whatever. I just put it on, and it's cool songs, easy to listen to. I can kick back and enjoy it. And that for me is really fun because never did I think that I would be this far into hip-hop a couple of years ago anyway. But doing the journey through hip-hop and kind of stumbling into pop, even though I know this isn't pop, I'm going to talk about that in a little bit here. And kind of learning the fun and the enjoyment of things that are simple, straightforward, easy listening. So it's nice for me. Impossible is my favorite song off the album, followed closely by Sweet and Familiarity. Both those are great songs. But honestly, the whole thing is cool. And I like Impossible as a song by itself, but I also feel like the song Impossible is just a great little summary of the album and probably Teezo's experience with making the album and being told, I imagine, by so many people, either as trying to make it as an artist or trying to make this kind of album inside of the hip-hop umbrella, you can't do it. It won't work. No one's gonna like. I can only imagine, right? And it's just tough when you're trying to do the thing that you want to do. And not to say that he has no support. I have no idea, right? But I can only imagine what kind of things people told him before the album came out. And I've seen some of the things people have said after the album came out. And so that's just hard. But why I appreciate this album so much, and especially because of Impossible, that song, I really do get the impression that he is sincerely making music that he wants to make, that he enjoys, that he cares about. And to me, that shines through on this album. There's something to be said about being straightforward and to the point. And while sometimes it is fun to listen to very complex rhyming schemes and try and unravel the triple meaning and quadruple meaning and all the references and all that, sometimes I don't want to think about any of that shit. Sometimes I just want to put on some tunes and chill the fuck out, And this album does that in spades, and it's great for that, in my opinion. Now, one criticism I do have is this whole idea of R&B, which he's calling rock and boom. He's trying to coin this new genre, which makes sense because to me, this album is not a hip hop album. Like, sure, there's a couple times where you could say the production sounds hip hop ish, or he's got a couple verses where he's spitting out some flow. Okay, maybe that puts you under the hip hop umbrella. But to me, this is more of like a happy Nirvana, right? Like if Kurt Cobain was not depressed in the early 90s, not on heroin, and everything was good, and instead of calling the album Nevermind, they call it Let's Get Brunch. That's what this feels like. It's kind of happy Nirvana to me, which is a complaint that I have with the idea of rock and boom. Because if somebody says to me rock and boom, I'm not expecting this. I'm expecting Mastodon and Prodigy getting together and making some loud, thunderous, electronic chaos. That's what I'm expecting. So, whatever. He's going to do his thing, great, but I'm not really on board with the rock and boom thing. Also, to coin it after something that is R&B which is already a thing. It's like adding an extra step to your new genre when you now have to explain to somebody, what is this? Oh, it's R&B. This isn't R&B. Oh, no, it's rock and boom. And then you still explain it anyway, so just cut out the first part by not calling it anyway. What else do I have to say? Not a lot, really. You know, I get why people aren't into this. I can go back to my previous brain from a couple years ago, and okay, the criticism, it's generic. The Disney thing, you know, the song, not too easy, Mood Swings. So silly, so playful, right? Like, yeah, I kind of get that. And I said in the reaction too, like, not everything needs to be complicated and have all these layers. But here's the thing, people like that. And so if you like that kind of thing, you're not really going to enjoy this. And for me, it was kind of a fun change up coming off of Watch My Back by Lucky, which is the complete inverse of this experience, obviously, right? It's fucking depression and drugs and dark and just kind of hard to take in. This was like going outside and the sunshine. And so, I don't know. I mean, I enjoy it. I'm glad other people are enjoying it. Hopefully Teezo is going back and listening to this album and seeing the responses, the positive responses. I mean, there's negative too. Just don't look at them because there's no point. You know, especially if you're an artist who's trying to make what you want to make. If you did that, don't worry about what other people say, because it doesn't matter, because you weren't making it for them anyway. You're making it for what you wanted it to be. If it is that, it is a success, in my opinion. Cool album. I guess that's kind of it. I mean, it's short, sweet, fitting, I suppose, for the album that it is. Friday will not be The Infamous by Mobb Deep. I got to switch up my schedule a little bit because something came up for Friday and I need a little bit of extra time in the afternoon. Basically, I need to be done with everything as early as possible. So I'm going to switch Mobb Deep and God Don't Make Mistakes. So it's going to be God Don't Make Mistakes this Friday, the new Drake album, and then The Infamous by Mobb Deep, rather than the other way around, which is what it was going to be. I'm looking forward to listening to some Conway. I've heard him before on a couple singles. I like what he's doing. I'm going to look up some of the stuff about, because I can't remember exactly the events that led up to his partial paralysis on his face. I think he got shot, but I'm not positive. I got to look it up. Should be fun. And yeah, I feel like I'm forgetting something. I probably am. But I guess that's how it goes sometimes, huh? Sometimes you just forget. There you go. All right, y'all. Take care. We'll see you Friday.